Good evening, glad that you are watching your channel of choice on TV47 News tonight. Tonight, suspects in Nakuru chilling crime wave detained for 14 days as police carry out investigations into their activities.
The application is allowed in terms of prayers 2 and 3. Mentioned before the duty court on 19th July for further directions.
Independent candidates handed lifeline by the court as sections of the Elections Act declared unconstitutional. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance flag bearer Raila Odinga scales the mountain.
Bei ya mafuta iko juu, sio? Bei ya sukari iko juu, sio? Tutateremsha mara moja.
This as Deputy President William Ruto urges Isiolo residents to help him in his bid to succeed his boss.
Mulisoma kwa manifesto yetu, tumesema mambo ya ajira ya hawa vijana ni mambo ya muhimu sana.
Ann Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Abu Bakr Abdullahi. To our top story tonight, and 6 suspects connected to the murder of 5 women in Mawanga, Nakuru County were today arraigned in court. And as our very own Chichi Josephine now reports, the suspects will remain behind bars for 14 days as police continue investigations.
First to appear before Nakuru Senior Principal Magistrate Charles Ndegwa was the prime suspect Evans Michori, who was arrested last week in Keroka, Kisii County after a mobile phone he had taken from one of his victims was traced to him. Kebwaro with his 5 suspected accomplices Dennis Mbolo, Makoha Wanjala, Julius Omondi, Isaac Kinyanjui and Josephat Simiyu, who are also arraigned, will be detained for 14 more days to allow detectives to complete their investigations as pleaded by the prosecution.
The application is allowed in terms of prayers 2 and 3. Mentioned before the duty court on 19th July for further directions.
One suspect, Josephat Simiyu, once testified in a scene of crime where a mother and her 2 daughters were burnt beyond recognition in Kisulisuli on June 1st this year.
Wakati tulikuja moto ilikuwa imeanza kwa hiyo room ya kwanza hiyo. Sasa na hatukuwa na uwezo kwenda kufungua hiyo mlango ya katikati ya kuingia sitting room, ilikuwa imewekwa bado ndani.
Michori will be detained at Kiugoine Police Station in Nakuru North, while the other 5 will be detained at various police stations in Nakuru pending investigations. Following the hearing of a miscellaneous application filed by the police, the 6 will be detained for 14 more days to allow investigations as they will again be presented to take plea on 19th this month. Reporting for TV47 from Nakuru County, my name is Chichi Josephine.
Thank you, Chichi Josephine, for that report. Moving on, Deputy President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza brigade took their campaigns to Isiolo County, where they drummed up support for their recently launched manifesto, chiding their Azimio counterparts for what they said was a lack of mwananchi-oriented agenda.
Isiolo mnasemaje?
The Kenya Kwanza Brigade took Isiolo County by a storm. Deputy President William Ruto and his team taking a swipe at the Azimio One Kenya opponents for what they termed as lack of clear agenda for the nation, further claiming that their bid is one designed to benefit a few in their political circle.
Ya ajira ndani ya Big 4, lakini hawa watu wakaharibu hiyo mpango ya Big 4. Wakatuletea BBI, wakatuletea rege, miaka 4 ikapotea na wakaturingia ati nobody can stop rege. Lakini rege ilisimama haikusimama. Ilikwama haikukwama. Si rege ilikwama? Ndio wawache kiburi. Wajue kuna Mungu mbinguni anaweza kusimamisha rege.
Ruto drumming up support for the newly unveiled manifesto and their bottom-up economic model, insisting they have what it takes to transform the country and especially fixing the high cost of living.
18 wakati mimi nilikuwa nashirikiana na Uhuru Kenyatta, bei ya unga ilikuwa shilingi 90. Saa hizi anashirikiana na mtu ya kitendawili, bei ya unga imefika shilingi 250. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Utajua hawajui. Ninyi mnanielewa watu wa Isiolo? Si madharau lazima tumalizane nayo.
Hakuna maneno ya ufisadi that we have not mentioned. Corruption, the war against corruption in our manifesto. I want to tell them for free that in our manifesto, the Kenya Kwanza government is going to establish a quasi-judicial commission to investigate economic crimes and state capture.
Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza brigade say they will advance the Big Four agenda, which they claim was watered down by the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition chief Raila Odinga.
Tutachukua bilioni 50 tuweke kwa biashara ya mama mboga, boda boda, mtu ya kioo, mfanyabiashara wa mtu. Kaza kwa manifesto nilisema mambo ya textile, mambo ya leather industry, agro processing, value addition, manufacturing, housing. Tutaweka bilioni 200 kupanga ajira ya hawa vijana wa Kenya.
Harambee UDA.
Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47.
Well, still in politics, and the Azimio One Kenya coalition party today intensified its campaigns in Nyeri County, with the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga calling on the people of the mountain to rally behind him ahead of the August 9th polls. Odinga saying that he will complete all projects that were started by President Uhuru Kenyatta, further warning residents against electing leaders with questionable characters. Andrin Kilemi now reports.
After a 4-day rally in his political backyard of Nyanza, Azimio One Kenya leader Raila Odinga has begun his 3-day tour of the mountain, urging the locals to back his ambition of occupying the country's top seat.
Sisi tuko na mbinu na suluhisho ya kushusha gharama ya maisha chini ili wananchi wa kidogo wapate afueni.
Baba na Martha, tukiwa pamoja mkitushikilia, nchi yetu itapumua tena.
In a move to hunt for more votes, Raila promised to complete all projects started by President Uhuru Kenyatta in the central region, including the construction of the Marua-Isiolo Road, a move he says will improve the county's level of infrastructure.
Barabara hapa mtaona kama inakuwa ni nyoka nyeusi. Hiyo ndio kazi mimi najua sana hiyo. Kazi ya barabara. Sawa. Hiyo ni kumaliza umaskini. Kwa upande mwingine, kwa upande ya ujinga, tumesema watoto wetu kuanzia nursery kupitia primary, secondary mpaka chuo kikuu hakuna karo tena.
The Azimio One Kenya running mate Martha Karua termed the deputy president as unfit for presidency, describing him as disrespectful in relation to his part with President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Na mimi sisemi usikosoe yule mnafanya kazi na yeye. Mkosoe ndani ya nyumba, mkitoka nje mtupatie matokeo na makubaliano. Lakini sio kutuletea mambo ya kukoseana adabu na heshima.
Mimi nasikia jamaa akiongea kila pale. Ati anasema mimi ndo nimelazimisha Uhuru kusimama, mimi nilikuwa nataka kupiga kofi. Unaona vile anasema amelazimisha Uhuru ati afanye hii na hii. Ndio alikuwa analazimisha Raila Odinga asikubali matokeo ya 2007 mpaka nchi yetu karibu chomeke. Shetani afanye nini? Shetani afanye nini?
The Azimio One Kenya campaign team toured Chaka, Mukurweini, Karatina, Othaya, Gyakanja and Nyeri town. The team will remain in Nyeri County for the next 2 days in its vote hunt ahead of the August 9 general election. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
Well, tonight the High Court has thrown out a section of the Elections Act requiring independent candidates to submit copies of their supporters' identity cards to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission while seeking elective seats. The ruling by Justice Anthony Mrima termed the requirements as unconstitutional and a violation of the Data Protection Act. One of the petitioners in the case, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, has termed the clearance of the 4 presidential candidates as illegal in the wake of the ruling. Our senior political affairs reporter Apollo Kamau tells us more.
The High Court handed independent aspirants victory Tuesday afternoon in a crucial ruling delivered by Justice Anthony Mrima that struck out a requirement that independent aspirants submit copies of their supporters' identity cards. In the ruling, the court says the requirement was in contravention of the Constitution and the Data Protection Act, dismissing sections of the Election Regulations Act of 2012. The ruling on 4 consolidated petitions filed by 17 independent aspirants is however likely to have no effect as it's time-barred and likely to apply in the next general election. In the wake of the ruling, Third Way Alliance presidential aspirant Dr. Ekuru Aukot said the move means IEBC has to go back to the drawing board, saying the clearance of the 4 presidential candidates is unconstitutional, null and void. A section of lawyers has termed the ruling as an order in vain. The petitioners who had protested against IEBC argued the requirement placed a heavier burden on them as independent aspirants as opposed to their party-sponsored counterparts. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Elsewhere, a 39-year-old man has pleaded guilty to raping a 2-year-old girl after contributing 100 shillings at a church function in Kasarani here in Nairobi. Elsewhere, the Anti-Corruption Court in Nairobi has heard that 16 transactions were made in relation to a property bought by former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, who is facing a 588 million shillings graft case.
27th August 2018.
The director of Superior Phone Communications Limited, Ms. Rehab Mwehaki Kariuki, has told the Anti-Corruption Court in Milimani that a total of 16 transactions were made in relation to a property that was bought at 380 million Kenya shillings with a down payment of 10% by former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu. Waititu is accused of fraudulently acquiring Delta Hotel in Nairobi, among other properties, in quick succession. The court heard that some of the amount was allegedly paid to Lake Naivasha Resort by Waititu himself.
2018.
According to the expert witness, the transactions were made between the 22nd of February 2018 and September 2018. 26 witnesses have taken to the stand to testify against the impeached governor in his 588 million graft case. Elsewhere, a court in Nairobi was astonished after a 39-year-old man pleaded guilty to defiling a 2-year-old girl after contributing 100 shillings at a church function in Kasarani, Nairobi County. The accused person, Erastus Kariuki, told Milimani Court Senior Principal Magistrate Wadia Nyamo that an evil spirit entered his mouth before reaching out to the minor to commit the heinous act. The accused is said to have defiled the minor on July 3rd, 2022 in Zimmerman area within Kasarani sub-county. The magistrate heard that the minor was rushed to the hospital where she is currently admitted for correctional surgery. The accused person, who seemed to be mentally disturbed, has been remanded awaiting sentencing. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, with 34 days to go to the August 9th polls, the Nzoia gubernatorial race continues to shape up, having attracted 7 candidates who have been cleared by IEBC. All the 7 candidates are battling out to succeed incumbent Governor Patrick Kayemba, who's serving in 2nd term and last office. Our reporter Boniface Barasa has crisscrossed the vote-rich county and has filed the following report.
Kitale town, known as the nation's food basket due to its potential of producing maize. The town serves as the headquarters of Nzoia County, county number 026. The county has 398,981 registered voters drawn from 5 constituencies, namely Kiminini, Cherangani, Kwanza, Saboti, and Endebess. As succession matrix intensifies and as Governor Haemba exits the stage come August 9 polls after serving his second term in office, the race to succeed him has attracted 7 candidates who seek to take over from him come August 9.
Kwa hivyo watu yangu mimi nawaomba.
Wycliffe Ashiwani, a father of 6, is one of those eyeing to succeed Governor Haemba.
I'm coming to Nzoia to create a market for our farm produce and also to bring down the cost of living for Nzoians because we can open up and leverage on the neighbors' needs.
Ashiwani claims the county has the potential to prosper economically by facilitating oil trade from the neighboring South Sudan.
Nzoia is a county that can leverage on its border to Sudan to be able to open up the market of oil from Sudan and will be able to spur the economic growth this side.
The 27-year-old Timothy Kiplagat, who graduated in 2020 from the University of Nairobi, has ventured into politics with the promise of creating jobs for graduates if elected in the August polls.
The problem we have in our country is poor governance, leading to lack of employment for young people. And we realize most of the time young people are affected. That is what has pushed me to vie for this seat.
Kiplagat claims that if elected as the second governor of Nzoia County, his first assignment in office is to complete the projects that his predecessor initiated before implementing his clearly outlined manifesto. Kiplagat, who is a bachelor, holds a firm belief that marriage is not a factor in leadership.
I'm just waiting for the day when I'll be sworn into office, when the people of Nzoia will elect me as their governor. Immediately, with my first salary, I think I will do a very big wedding.
Former Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea is the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition gubernatorial candidate on a DAPK party ticket.
Alafu na bado mnasema decrease. Decrease kitu gani?
Natembea is facing off with Kiminini constituency member of parliament Dr. Chrysanthus Wahungu Wamalwa, who is Kenya Kwanza sole gubernatorial candidate running on a Ford Kenya party ticket. The two are perceived to be the front runners in the Wafula Chebukati-led finals slated for August 9. Natembea is running a campaign with a clarion call that is time to liberate the people of Nzoia.
So I'm not just promising hope. Hope is good, because when people lose hope, they've got nothing left. Want to give them hope, fine, but again, you want to do very practical things.
His main rival, Kiminini MP Dr. Chris Wamalwa, believed that Nzoia residents will elect a leader with a proven track record.
This is a person who has been elected, who has been re-elected, and who has proven the test of times. We are trying to extrapolate. In fact, the majority of the people say we elected a governor whom we didn't know his track record.
Natembea also claims that he will give priority to the agricultural sector if elected, a position held by his main rival.
Instead of having people buy maize, transport it all the way to Mombasa for it to be milled so that we can buy flour in our supermarkets here. We can have those factories here, and even the cost of production will go down because we have minimized the cost of transportation.
I want to tell the farmers that we are going to subsidize the inputs. Now, when it comes to matters of value addition, we want also to partner with the private sector. We bring these millers here so that we sell maize flour instead of maize itself.
Chrysanthus Wamalwa has promised to improve the health sector, which he claims is severely crippled.
So to me, healthcare being devolved as per Schedule 4 of the Constitution is going to be my first priority for the completion of the referral hospital. Already there are sunken costs, and this is a project we cannot abandon. As a matter of fact, this is a project that we want to expedite the process of completion.
So we're going to invest heavily in the health sector, so to have health services that are affordable, that are accessible. Meaning, even in areas of good dispensaries, we may have to upgrade them to health centers.
expansion of Kitale town is also a matter that the two frontrunners believe should be given due consideration.
We should be able to get space for expansion and do proper planning, so we can even have an industrial area within Kitale town. But we're going to start with the basics. Just want to get the basics right. Let's have just good roads.
That town is the face of Nzoia County. And one of my priority is to be able to rearrange the town. Rearrange the town in terms of cleanliness. It's very dirty. Look at the infrastructure. The potholes all over.
We also sought for comments from the residents on what they will consider in electing their second county chief.
Atuweke like mahali pazuri, apunguze mambo ya tax.
Lazima niangalie mipangilio ama maonezi yameweka.
Natembea's bid has been backed by Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga and Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, while Chris Wamalwa enjoys the support of the Deputy President William Ruto, Ford Kenya Party leader Moses Wetangula, and ANC boss Musalia Mudavadi.
I know folks who are supporting Raila who may not end up voting Natembea. I know folks who are supporting Ruto may not end up supporting Chris.
With the succession matrix shaping up, with Kenyans left with 35 days to August polls, the ultimate decision of deciding who will be the next Nzoia County boss lies in the hands of more than 300,000 registered voters who will decide who will be the next county boss to occupy these offices. Boniface Barasa, TV47, Nzoia County.
Thank you, Boniface Barasa, for the premier analysis of the gubernatorial race in the 47 counties. Remember, TV47 will be analyzing the gubernatorial race as the race takes shape. Now, as the country gears towards the August general election, Roots Party presidential candidate Professor George Wajakoya has found himself on the receiving end after a Kenyan voter, Peter Solomon Gishira, through Gashie Mwanza and company advocates, officially wrote to the British High Commission to question his citizenship status. And as Micah Gwongo now reports, Gishira argues that a person is not eligible for election or appointment to state office in Kenya unless the person is a citizen of Kenya, and at least according to the 2010 Constitution.
Roots Party presidential candidate George Wajakoya's bid now delicately hangs on the hands of the country's immigration services after questions about his citizenship emerged. In a letter copied to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and the Directorate of Immigration Services, Peter Solomon Gishira, through Gashie Mwanza and company advocates, claims that Wajakoya has on previous occasions admitted to previously attempting to run for a parliamentary seat in the UK, where he lived.
He went public and said that he had, at a particular point in time, tried to seek and to vie for a seat in the UK, I think a place called Tottenham, but he was disqualified by, I guess, reason that he did not have a wife then.
And now that he has been cleared by the IEBC to run for election in Kenya in the race to become the country's next president, Gishira wants to know whether indeed Wajakoya is eligible to vie. He claims that one can only seek to be elected in the UK if he or she is a British citizen, a citizen of the Republic of Ireland, a citizen of a Commonwealth country who does not require leave to enter or remain in the UK, or has an indefinite leave to remain in the UK.
For him to be able to vie in the UK would have required either he be a citizen of the UK or a place we call Ireland, or a member of a Commonwealth who does not require leave, which is basically a visa to enter the UK.
On the other hand, to qualify for the presidency in Kenya, IEBC says one must first be a Kenyan citizen by birth, who does not owe allegiance to a foreign state.
Because Article 78 of our Constitution prohibits a state officer from having dual citizenship. And a president is a state officer. A state officer is described under Article 74 of the Constitution as any person who is holding an office where you have to take an oath before assuming the role of that office. So as a president, as a state officer, you are not supposed to have dual citizenship.
Gachagua says the Kenyan constitution is clear on who should seek an elective position, quoting Article 78(1), which states that a person is not eligible for election or appointment to a state office unless the person is a citizen of Kenya. And B, which states that any person who has been made a citizen of another country by operation of that country's law without ability to opt out. The article further says the aforementioned clauses do not apply to any persons who has been made a citizen of another country by operation of that country's law without the ability to opt out. In the past, controversy arose after Kenyan with dual nationality was nominated to be ambassador to South Korea. The National Assembly in 2019 had approved the nomination of Mwente Mwinzi, but imposed a caveat that she could not report to duty until she renounces her American citizenship. She then went to court, which ruled she could not renounce either of her citizenship, as it was acquired by birth. The High Court, however, said ambassadorial positions were sensitive national assignments. Article 260 defines a state officer as a person holding a state office and goes on to define state office by listing the offices in government that are constitutionally regarded as state offices, including president, deputy president, cabinet secretary, member of parliament, judges and magistrates, among others. However, Gachagua requested the British High Commission to treat the request as urgent due to the August 9th polls and the need to print ballot papers. If IEBC will find that Wajakoya holds dual citizenship, Gachagua's lawyer Stephen Gachagua maintains that the constitution is to an extent silent on whether the election will be postponed, a situation which shall only be left for courts to decide.
Now, death, we would all understand what death means. So the constitution is silent as to what would happen if one of those who have been cleared is now eliminated from the race before the elections by other reasons aside from.
Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, various denominational leaders and political aspirants from various seats in Naivasha, Nakuru County have today appended signatures with a commitment to promote peace in the region during the election period. Our reporter Willie Dennis Njiru with that story.
At the Naivasha Catholic Church Auditorium in Nakuru County, leaders drawn from the political divide converged here with the clergy marching idioms with appended allegiance signatures to foster peace before, during and after the post-election period.
Ni kwa nini tunaongea mambo ya amani baada ya miaka mitano? Ni kwa sababu wanasiasa hurudi kwa wananchi baada ya miaka mitano, wanafuruga amani na tunaihitaji. Kwa hivyo tutaendelea kuiongea. Na wakati hatuongei ni kwa sababu amani iko. Na wakati huo wanasiasa hawako.
Despite the tribal differences, let the tribes be our strength, na niombe ya kwamba watu wote tupendane.
The clergy vehemently condemning utterances and the conduct of some politicians, thus disturbing peace.
Maana kila mara anapokuja kutafuta kuchaguliwa, huweka uadui kati yake na wapinzani wake.
Kila wakati wanasema Naivasha ndio hotspot, sisi kama aspirant wenye tumesimama, tumekataa hayo yote, tutadumisha amani na tunaomba amani.
Perennial political violence in every election cycle was cited, with citizens cautioned citizenry to exercise peace.
Nchi ya upanga ilikuwa at the independence time, na kwa sasa wakati mbeberu alitolewa Kenya, tukabaki sisi kama Wakenya tunajitawala. Tunafaa kuona jirani yetu kama yule mwingine. Wacha nchi ya upanga iwe ile kura yako tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8.
Sisi ndio tulijua umuhimu ya amani baada ya msukosuko iliyopatikana katika mwaka 2007 na 2008. Kwa hivyo naomba wanasiasa wanapotafuta kura kwetu sisi watafute wakiimba amani.
And we don't want that to be repeated again, and that is why as politicians we've come today to sign that pact, the peace agreement, and we have vowed to us and to our God that we will maintain peace.
Wanasiasa wa Kenya tunaomba waweze kufika kiwango cha maturity ambacho tunaita conventional moral standard, ili waache kujiona na ubinafsi.
With a myriad of emerging questions before the common mwananchi to the political elite.
Wewe kama uko kwa ballot, ukipigana faida yako ni gani? Wewe kama uko kwa ballot, Wakenya wakipigana faida yako ni gani?
Ukileta furugu watu wapigane wauane, utaongoza akina nani?
Pasipo hili taifa letu la Kenya, hatuna taifa lingine la kukimbilia kama wakimbizi. Angalia maneno ya Ukraine.
The power of love should at all time surpass the love of power.
With just 34 days to go before the next general election in August, the importance of peace cannot be overemphasized. Reporting for TV47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Thank you, Willie Dennis Njiru, for that report. You're watching Kenya's fastest growing television. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot lined up for you.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Can somebody put on the lights? Yes, thank you. What else can somebody beg in this country? Everything is up. Camera, somebody get me a camera, Thank you. I need to shoot my shot. But you know, I need someone to be cooking the questions. This is something to cook. Why you give me weird things? Frying pan. No. Yes, Mr. Handsome Guy. Yes, the eagle himself. So, nipatie kikombe ni wakunywe. Here we are. Ladies, why do you always have to talk? Where were you?
I'm sorry.
Madam, you are the reason why we are late to going to heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the eagle himself, Dr. Fuenike.
And DJ Leslie.
And of course, this July, Leslie, umekanyaga nini? Takuja 6.
This is our moment. A moment when we want to elect the leaders we want. Our young people, go out and vote. We want leaders who are servant leaders. Kadhalika, wewe mwenzangu, unashiriki dini au imani fulani. Wewe wezekawa ni Mkristu, unaenda makanisani, wezekawa ni Muislamu, unaenda msikitini, wezekawa ni Hindu, unaenda temples. Pia ni nafasi ya kushirikisha jamii nzima. Tunaposwali wakati huu, tuweke madhumuni maalum ya kusali na kuombea nchi yetu, uchaguzi wa amani, wa uhuru na wa haki. Asante, iweni na amani na wenzenu.
Usiyakubalie maumivu ya misuli kukatiza ratiba yako.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability.
It's living with ease and accessing quality lifestyle while taking a swim. It's taking care of your body in a 5-star gym while you achieve your fitness goals. It's living in a serene and quiet neighborhood. It's about staying in a place with spacious driveways and ample parking. It's about living in a safe and secure environment. It's about convenient shopping. Soft life is living comfortable in affordable and yet an elegant space. It's everything stylish. Here's to introducing Great Rift Apartments, located at the heart of Nakuru City in Kisulisuli Estate, just a few minutes from the Central Business District. Great Rift Apartments, the hub of soft living. At Tryson School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, we offer highly competitive courses tailor-made to suit your needs. These include certificate and diploma in theatre technology, medical engineering, nutrition and dietetics, science lab, health records, environmental health science, counseling psychology, applied biology, social work and community development information and communication technology, community health and HIV/AIDS management, health services support, among others. Intake is ongoing. Register now at our Nairobi campus in Nairobi West, around Nyayo Stadium on 0700-129-536. Our Juja campus next to Jomo Kenyatta University on 0700-000-760. Our Kisumu campus opposite Swan Center, Oginga Odinga Street on 0703-201-229. And Homa Bay campus opposite Makongeni Petrol Station. Tryson School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, where careers come to life.
We shall legalize weed.
Professor George Luchiri Wajakoya of the Roots Party.
Semeni Babakea. Babakea.
Raila Amolo Odinga of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Party.
Unajua mimi sina pesa ya serikali ama ya kashfa.
David Mwaure Wahiga of the Agano Party. And
hakuna kura ya hasla mutaiba.
William Samoei Ruto of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Presidential Debate 2022. Do not adjust your sets.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back to TV47 News Tonight. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to more news now. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has called on the 39th Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD Extraordinary Summit of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government, which kicked off today, to focus on peace and security in the region, with particular emphasis on conflict, terrorism, violent extremism, among others. The Assembly comes against the backdrop of recent border tension, which escalated between Sudan and Ethiopia. The Executive Secretary of IGAD last month called on the two sisterly countries to exercise utmost restraint and avoid action that will further heighten tensions.
Kenya will continue to collaborate with regional as well as international partners to strengthen conflict prevention and promote sustainable peace and development. Kenya will also continue to work towards strengthening the conflict resolution capacity and overall capability of our regional institutions, and in particular, the East African Community, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, and the African Union, to make them more effective in accelerating the transition towards the peaceful and prosperous region that we all aspire to achieve. Let me assure you of Kenya's commitment to the process of finding lasting solutions to the challenges that we face in the Horn of Africa. And I look forward to our exchange of views on how we together can work towards peace, prosperity, and sustainability in our region.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of Health, together with its development partners, have unveiled the National Reproductive Health Policy that seeks to improve reproductive health of Kenyans, especially persons with disability and adolescent girls. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, the Ministry of Health has further made it clear that it has no plans to neither legalize abortion or recognize the LGBT community.
Kenya's teenage population accounts for 20% of country's pregnancies.
53% of gender-based violence cases, and 61% of HIV and AIDS positive cases. It is these alarming statistics that has now pushed the Ministry of Health and its development partners to urgently launch the National Reproductive Health Policy to address reproductive health needs for the younger population.
The issue of the teenage pregnancies, which has really also been an increase, because as we said, out of 100 women,
Well, we apologize for that. Our reporter Elizabeth Tieno will be reworking on that story. Now, the Asian community has today deposited a symbolic calabash in the Hall of Kenya at the Nairobi National Museum after President Uhuru Kenyatta formally acknowledged the community as the 44th tribe in Kenya.
Kenya, as any other African countries, has a rich heritage comprising of many different tribes with different cultures, beliefs, and languages. In 2017, President Uhuru Kenyatta recognized the Asian community as one of the tribes in Kenya after staying in the country for a century now. This Hall of Kenya at the National Museum constitutes hundreds of calabashes which represent the rich heritage of all communities in the country. Today, the Asian community placed their calabash in a celebration which was characterized with the display of their cultural instruments as a sign meant to conform with the Kenyan culture. The community expressed their gratitude for recognition, citing that the process was not easy.
It was a long journey, and we feel proud because, one, after 100 years in Kenya, we are now fully recognized as a tribe. We are now part of the integral system.
And we are really honored as a museum to be the home and to provide the home for this calabash that really is really a symbolism of Kenya's rich cultural heritage.
This is a living legacy that has been left by our dear President Uhuru Kenyatta. He promised us, and through his minister, he gave it to us.
This calabash will remain among hundreds of others for generations to come as a representation of the Asian community as the 44th tribe of Kenya. Paul Munio, TV 47.
Elsewhere, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has urged the incoming government after the elections to invest in education so as to sustain the competency-based curriculum and the education system that is currently in place. The Education Cabinet Secretary was speaking during the opening of Mary Joyce Secondary School in Mombasa. Magoha further added that it is important for every primary school to have a laboratory.
The small matter of the primary schools, the bottleneck is going to be the laboratory. You either have it or you don't. If you don't, then tutakuwa na shida hapo. And I've told you, if you had to convert a room to a lab, 2 to 3 weeks, it's not a big issue.
Kwa sababu tumejitayarisha na watoto wetu pia tumewatayarisha, na pia tumefungua milango kwa sababu ya watoto wa shule zingine. Tunaweza kuwa na stream 3 hata na 4 kwa sababu madarasa tunayo na tuko tayari.
One thing I know is that come 1st of January 2023, our children must prepare to go to school. Whether there is a government of Kamau or Wajakoya or whoever. Is that not so? Yes. So that is the job we are trying to do here. Nobody is saying that CBC is going to be a smooth ride. The incoming government must also continue to spend money. The question is, are you going to get value for money the way President Uhuru Kenyatta has gotten value for money? For example, for classrooms. There's a caveat where we have said, in order to maximize on the numbers, there are some primary schools with the same compound, within the same compound as the high schools. The space in those primary schools will still be utilized also, but it will still be in the high school.
Jitayarisha vilivyo, tumejikakamua na tulifuata maagizo ambayo tulipewa na waziri. Tukaangalia kuanzia mwanzo, walituambia tuangalie size of the classes na tukafanya hivyo. Wakatuambia ya kwamba lazima tuwe na zile vyumba ambavyo tunaviita laboratory. Na tuko navyo na waziri ameviona na amefurahia, tunazo 3. Na pia tumetayarisha ile room ambayo inaitwa IT room. Na waziri pia amepitisha na akapenda na akafurahia, akasema ya kwamba pale katika kile chumba cha IT tunaweza kuwa na 150 computer.
Let's get to the world of business. And the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Nairobi County, in conjunction with the Madison Insurance, held the Nairobi Chairman's Breakfast at the Heron Hotel with aim of inducting new members. The event was marked with remarks from Alice Ruto, an affiliate of the Agricultural Society of Kenya.
Various stakeholders area we're looking at in the second half of the year. Then we also have renewable energy. We are going to have various engagements on renewable.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Alice Ruto, representing the CEO, Agricultural Society of Kenya. On his behalf, I just want to let you know that Nairobi International Trade Fair, known as ASK famously, is running on this year after the 2-year COVID break, and I want to invite all of you. We have a new expo hall that can accommodate all of you actually.
Nairobi is a capital city of Kenya, but also don't forget, it's also a capital city of Africa. That's how we look at it in terms of if you're coming to Africa, where would possibly be your first stop? If you choose between Johannesburg, Nairobi, Cairo, and Lagos, there's a high possibility any foreign investor would like to first stop in Nairobi. We need a research center. We're currently working with the Strathmore Business School to see how we can have more research students, especially when they're doing their master's and PhD studies, see how they can get more information for us when it comes to research. We use that information with our business members to our benefit. That is one area. Another area we're looking at is setting up an incubation center within the KNCCI, focusing on the digital space and the digital businesses.
Elsewhere, the transport company Bolt has opened its Africa head office in Nairobi, owing to the city's strategic position that caters for the African regional operations. Speaking during the official opening of the office, Bolt Regional Director Patty Partridge highlighted that the role of the investment was to enable smooth operations within the continent. For business news, Dennis Otieno is with me in studio. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. Dennis Otieno will be back with sports news.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness.
I need someone to be cooking the questions. This is something to cook. Why you give me weird things? Frying pan. Frying pan. No. Yes, Mr. Handsome Guy. Yes, the eagle himself. So, nipatie kikombe ni wakunywe. Here we are. Ladies, why do you always have to talk late? Where were you?
I'm sorry.
Madam, you are the reason why we are late to going to heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the eagle himself, Dr. Fuenike.
And DJ Leslie.
And of course, this July, listen, ubekajaga nini? Etakuja 6.
Want to know the meaning of a soft life? It's living with ease and accessing quality lifestyle while taking a swim. It's taking care of your body in a 5-star gym while you achieve your fitness goals. It's living in a serene and quiet neighborhood. It's about staying in a place with spacious driveways and ample parking. It's about living in a safe and secure environment. It's about convenient shopping. Soft life is living comfortable in affordable and yet an elegant space. It's everything stylish. Here's to introducing Great Rift Apartments, located at the heart of Nakuru City in Kisulisuli Estate, just a few minutes from the Central Business District. Great Rift Apartments, the hub of soft living.
I like that.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment,
A very warm welcome to Primetime Sports. My name is Dennis Otieno. Now let's start off with some sports shooting, where the Kenya Air Rifle and Air Pistol team from the Kenya Sports Shooting Federation jet out of the country this evening for Korea to take part in the ISSF World Cup, slated to begin from the 6th to 27th July this year in Changwon Township. The team comprises of 2 athletes, Priscilla Wangoi, who will be competing in the air rifle category, and her counterpart Morris Morara in the air pistol category. Now, speaking while receiving the official kits from the competition earlier today at the National Olympics Committee of Kenya NOC headquarters, Priscilla called on Kenyan fans to continue supporting the team as they aim to raise the Kenyan flag high in the competition. The Kenya Police College instructor lauded the Kenya Sports Shooting Federation for increasing the popularity of the sport in the country to a level of hosting international tournaments in the country.
This World Cup, well, any other World Cup, they're a big deal. It's not a qualifier for the Olympics, but we're going to treat it as a benchmark for what we're going to expect in the qualification rounds that are starting in the next 2 months. I believe it will be in October, the World Championship in Egypt, Cairo. So this World Cup will really help us know what we need to improve on, where we need to put in the work, and what is expected of us come the World Championship that is going to be the first stage of the qualifications towards the Paris 2024.
Meanwhile, para-athlete Nelly Sile has set the bar high when she takes on her opponents at the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games later on this month. Sile will be taking part in the F55 category of shot put in athletics field events as she intensifies her preparations for the competition in camp at the Kasarani Stadium. Sile, who will be taking part in her first major championship since taking up para sports, stated that the call-up to the national team was a dream come true, adding that she remains focused on registering good results. Sile also lauded the immense support she has been receiving from her coach, terming her as a trainer who makes learning very seamless.
Kwa hii muda tutakaa hapa, ninaona nitaimprove kwa sababu nitakaa vizuri, nitalala vizuri, sitakuwa nakumbuka watoto watakula nini kwa sababu tunalipwa ukituma nyumbani, yani uko stress free. Hii camp imenisaidia sana na ninajua nitaimprove na ninashukuru wenye wali arrange kama noko ku arrange kitu kama hii kama camp kwa sisi wenye hatuna mahali tunaweza trainia. Ndio unaweza kuwa na pesa lakini mahali pa kutrainia ni ngumu.
Now to some domestic football news, where FKF Premier League side Gor Mahia has parted ways with its head coach Andreas Speer. This after the tactician's 6 months contract with the club lapsed. According to reports, the club opted not to retain the German international based on his performance with the club, while the management has reached an agreement to extend the contract of assistant coach Michael Nam, who will be in charge of the team on interim basis. Speer joined Gor Mahia on February 1st this year and led the team to a third place finish on 54 points, 9 points behind leaders Tusker FC. Now, after being bundled out of the Kenya Basketball Federation National League in the semi-finals last season, Equity Bank men's basketball team, Equity Domas, has returned to the scene on a retaliatory mission as they target to rectify their mistakes and lift the trophy this season. Our sports reporter Duncan Mutua caught up with a team that continues to sharpen its skills at the Nyayo National Stadium Indoor Arena and filed the following report.
6:30 p.m. The standard time when most Kenyans retire from their busy schedules. However, for these few Kenyans walking into their favorite den, their day is just beginning. This is Equity Bank men's basketball team, Equity Dumas. Equity Dumas take to the Nyayo National Stadium Gymnasium every evening where they polish their skills as they target to be fine form and top the league and consequently lift the converted trophy owing to their hard work.
Our expectations are sky high, nothing short of winning the league.
Despite being knocked out in the semi-finals of the Kenya Basketball Federation playoffs, Equity Dumas head coach David Maina and his players remain optimistic that this season is theirs for the taking.
We have one objective, and the objective is to win. We have come back strong. Most of us are healthy. Most of us are fresh. Personally, I feel like I'm in a good position, mentally wise and physically wise. So I feel like on the right path to winning this time.
Yeah, this year we want to make sure that we are on top of KPA, whichever way, so that when we meet in the playoffs, we have more games in Nairobi.
In their quest to be crowned the KBF National League champions, the Dumas have already reinforced their squad with the signing of experienced shooting guard Victor Bosire from Ulinzi, Faisal Hamed from Washington, USA, and James Mwangi, among others.
We've added some of the best players in the league, such as Victor Bosire, James Mwangi, who have also been players who have won in teams that they've been previously on. We've signed great players. You have signed a great point guard from, he was in Ulinzi, his name is Bosire. He's a major boost in terms of leadership, his attitude, his level of competitiveness.
The team that is gradually driving itself towards perfection as each day elapses has built profound chemistry within its players that